What better place to be than in Southern California as USC hosts the 2013 NCAA Championship Regionals. The winner has a chance to be volleyball's national champions. You're watching the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. We are inside the Galen Center for our first semifinal. Washington of the Pac-12, used to playing in this building, will face Kansas in just a few moments. Kansas making its first regional semifinal in school history. In the next match, USC will play on its home floor against BYU. And once again, hello everyone. Sam Gore, honored to be alongside former NCAA champion Olympic medalist Holly McPeak. Holly, we've got 4 teams here that have made it this far into the tournament. What do you like about this regional?
I like everything about this regional. Really interesting matchups. Both could go either way. BYU has been kind of the shock of the tournament, upsetting Hawaii in Hawaii. And then Kansas against Washington right now, really excited.
Well, how about this match? We've got Washington of the Pac-12, Kansas out of the Big 12. What do you like about this one?
Kansas is big and physical. They set goals at the beginning of the season. They've achieved those goals. They want to go further. Washington, one of the best serving teams in the country, known for their volleyball execution at a very high level. Interesting matchup.
Well, Kansas making its first regional semifinal appearance. Kansas hosted its own regional last weekend, defeated Wichita State and Creighton by the same score of 3-1, and they are led by Caroline Jarmock.
Look at the numbers by Jarmock, 25 kills in 2 matches, hitting .438 out of the middle.
And for Washington out of the Pac-12, swept Alabama State, dropped a set to LSU. Pac-12 Player of the Year, Krista Van Sant.
34 kills in 2 matches, hitting .370. Those are fantastic numbers from the left side.
So we are moments away from beginning this historic night. Kansas and Washington will kick things off for a spot in the regional final. Back here inside the Galen Center, Kansas and Washington about to square off for the right to move on to tomorrow night's regional final. Let's go ahead and show you the lineups for our first semifinal. First for Kansas.
Kansas is led by Big 12 setter of the year, Erin McNorton, and Chelsea Albers, #1. Does it all for this Kansas team, 6 rotations.
And a team I know you're very familiar with, the Washington Huskies.
Krista Van Sant, the Pac-12 Player of the Year, but Liana Sabelman in the middle is a big weapon, as well as Kaylee Nelson on the opposite.
Well, we will play best of 3, 3 out of 5 sets. First to 25, win by 2 in the first 4 sets. If we go to a 5th set, it is first to 15, win by 2. Just like it's been all year. And we're set to go. A great weekend of volleyball. This regional always is the nightcap because of the West Coast. And to begin this match will be Jamie Matthew, who is just 5 feet tall, a defensive specialist from St. Louis. First attack was by Van Sant, and the point goes to the Huskies as somebody, Albers, was in the antenna.
Look for Washington to put the pressure on Kansas right now from the service line.
Jenna Orlandini, she's the libero from California. Albers picks up the first point for the Jayhawks. Ray Bouchard in his 16th season. He is the current Big 12 Coach of the Year after the Jayhawks' stellar performance this year. Closing in on 1,000 wins as a head coach. Riley with the serve. Albers chases that set. Good up in the back row by Orlandini. Take that Strickland. Another point to Kansas, 2-1 Jayhawks lead. There's Jim McLaughlin in his 13th season, led this program to the national championship in 2005. That year they won every match in a sweep. And Huskies have been to 11 straight NCAA tournaments. Carmichael Another point for Kansas. Kansas has come out strong.
Kansas picking some defensive spots that are working and then attacking right back in transition. Catherine Carmichael, number 21. Number 20 finishes that one off.
Riley still serving. And there's a strong swing out of the middle from Melanie Wade.
Melanie Wade doesn't get set a lot, but at 6'4", she's got a lot of offensive range. It starts with a good pass. Boom for the kill.
Jenny Nogueras, a setter from Puerto Rico, fifth-year senior, will serve. And that's one thing about Washington, Holly, is their serving, right?
They are known for their serving and taking teams out of their offense.
And Sant finds the opening. Good volleyball IQ.
Absolutely. Krista Van Zandt didn't have to put heat on it. She knew what part of the court was open, pushes it to the corner.
We're tied at 3. And service error gives the side out back to Kansas. The Jayhawks lead 4-3. Kansas, as I mentioned earlier, making its first regional semifinal appearance in school history. So therefore, obviously the regional final would be a first as well. And Washington's trying to get back to the regional final for the first time since 2010.
Washington going a lot to Krista Van Zandt early. They usually don't do it. They spread it out early and then find her.
Nice dump over there by number 17, Eric McNorton. She's the setter, Big 12 setter of the year. That was very offensive.
Perfect pass, Eric McNorton, and then Cassie Strickland cheated on her blocking duty, and Kansas makes them pay.
Holly, do you change your approach at all based on the fact that it's one and done right now? Like, for example, you said Van Sant. They normally don't start setting her so early. Is that just a result of having to get those points early because you got to get started quickly?
Well, I think for Washington, they like to stick to a certain game plan. They're going to attack certain areas of the court against Kansas. Maybe that's why they're setting Krista Van Zandt so early right from the beginning.
I always wondered if when you get to this stage in the season and in the tournament, if you ran your system a little differently or if you just stuck to what got you there. Kill by Jarmock, tools the block, and it is Kansas with a 1-point lead advantage. Jarmock, first team All Big 12 performer. She's a Canadian, but the first All-American in Kansas history. Nice swing from Nelson.
Kaylee Nelson, number 6 in white, has been a bright spot all year for Washington. She was a high jumper in high school, so much improved and hits really high numbers from the right side.
Nelson rotates out. Back to serve now is Katie Beals, the setter from Austin, Texas. Washington does run a 6-2. That was Dockery with the swing. She's rotated in. It was touched by Kansas, so the point goes to Washington, and it's Strickland who gets the kill.
Cassie Strickland, at only 5'8", really needs to manage her offense because she is undersized. That time hitting high hands for the kill.
Off the slide, the block is there, though. That 5'8" is not a disadvantage. She got up and blocked that. Strickland I'm talking about.
Watch Cassie Strickland, number 8, swing block, perfect execution at 5'8". She gets up and seals the net for Washington.
She's interesting because she was recruited as a defensive specialist, but was an outside hitter in high school and wanted to stick with that position, and she's earned her spot. There's another kill from Munoz.
Kylan Munoz, number 24, also hits from the right side because Washington runs a 6-2, hits right between the two big blockers from Kansas.
And Washington has its biggest lead of this opening set, 9-6. Dockery, that's out. Another point for the Huskies.
Tiana Dockery getting a nice look at that swing, just hitting it wide, trying to avoid the Washington block.
Washington has yet to commit an error, and Kansas only has one. It's been a very clean start in this regional semi. Susie. And there's a good swing by Sebelden to get the kill for the Huskies.
Number 10, Leanna Sebelden in white in the middle of the court. So good in transition out of the middle. Been very effective for Washington all season long.
Well, the Jayhawks led early, but Washington has come storming back. The Huskies lead 11-6 as Kansas takes a timeout. We'll be right back. Washington up 11-6 in this opening set of our first semifinal here at the Galen Center on the campus of USC. The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship coverage continues with the national semifinals Thursday, December 19th at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. For more information, visit ncaa.com, your home for all 89 NCAA championships. It is a fun weekend for volleyball fans. It's all across ESPN3 and ESPNU. You can see every single match in these regionals from coast to coast. Point to Kansas, and back to serve for the Jayhawks is Aaron McNorton. Interesting, McNorton really led that timeout talk on that last timeout. She was the one talking to the team more than the coaches. There's a kill from the middle by Sebelden.
Leanna Sebelden again. That time, Kansas put 2 blockers in front, and Leanna Sebelden doesn't even blink. Beautiful swing to the corner.
Washington, one of a record 9 Pac-12 teams to make the tournament this year. Big serve from Strickland. There's the block. Sebelden got most of it.
Washington's bunch swing block effective. Again, Leanna Sebelden sealing the net. Big for Washington.
And finally, the kill goes down for Dockery from that left side.
Tiana Dockery's been looking for that sharp angle to fall. Finally gets it down.
That was her 6th swing, and just her 2nd kill. Sophomore from Richmond, Texas. So Gordon back, Mathieu back to serve again. And a long rally, a lot of out-of-system volleyball, but finally the Huskies pick up the point off the block from Sebelden.
Look at this beautiful execution swing block by Leanna Sebelden and Kylan Munoz for Washington. They're known for their blocking system, and they're very effective at execution.
Huskies up 14-8. Serving was number 4 Orlandini. And Gordon with the set, and Albers just missed wide of the line.
I'll tell you, Chelsea Albers, number 1 in blue, is so physical. Big swing down the line. She took a couple in that rally, just missing wide for Kansas.
Albers, first team All Big 12 this season.
Right now, Kansas feeling the pressure. Washington forcing Kansas only to run out to the pin, and that's not what they need. They need some offense out of the middle and a Chelsea Albers on the right.
16-8, Washington in the lead this opening set. Carmichael really had to reach to get that. And there's the block by Carmichael.
Catherine Carmichael and Taylor Susie, the freshman, number 10. Very effective block. They get out, and Taylor Susie so quick left to right, closes the block for Kansas.
Susie was the one who got most of that. Big 12 all-freshman team member this year. And Van Sant finally gets the kill.
In transition, Krista Van Sant, 16 in white. She is known for taking big swings, and she knows what to do even if a big block's in front of her. High hands.
McNorton couldn't save that. Point to Washington, and the Huskies race out in front 18-9.
There you see the serving pressure on Kansas from Washington.
Another timeout taken by the Jayhawks. Washington in control of this opening set, up 18-9. Well, the Kansas Jayhawks in their first trip to a regional semifinal, behind in this opening set, 18-9, had a good start. Ray Bouchard, the Big 12 Coach of the Year, winningest coach in program history. And he is 4th all-time among Big 12 coaches in wins. Only John Cook, Laurie Corbelli, and Jared Elliott have more wins over the course of their careers in that conference than Ray Bouchard. Nagaris, get things started out of this timeout. Good serve. Albers with a little off speed, didn't fool the Huskies though.
Washington has the right matchup. They have Krista Van Sant in front of Chelsea Albers. Van Sant able to wait and throw that ball down.
19-9, Washington in front. Nogueras will serve again. Van Sant's block goes out of bounds, point to the Jayhawks.
Chelsea Albers, #1 in blue, working hard for that point for Kansas.
Maggie Anderson, a setter, has come in to serve for Kansas. Just a freshman.
Kansas on a little roll right there with another block, that time on Kaylee Nelson.
Maggie Anderson looking over at Ray Bouchard to get some instructions on where to put this serve. Jarmock, saved by Anderson. Carmichael, good up in the back row. Another good rally. And finally, Washington wins the point. Wow.
Well fought on both sides of the net. McNorton dumps it over, and Orlandini, one of the best liberos in the country, picks it up. Kaylee Nelson, high hands for the big kill, then that long rally.
20-11, Washington in front, 5 points away from the opening set. Jarmock got tangled up there with McNorton. And Washington now 4 points away from the set.
Washington continues to attack. They get a team in trouble on serve receive, and then attack in transition.
Oh, that's out. Missed by Strickland.
That transition set for Washington was too far off the net to give Cassie Strickland a chance to kill the ball.
Cassie Waite comes in to serve. Double hit on Washington. Another point for Kansas as they try to somehow get back in this set, but it may be too far away as Washington just 4 points from claiming it. Wow, big swing on that left side. That is by Sarah McClinton.
Sarah McClinton, number 4 for Kansas, gets up and elevates. Beautiful swing. She is part of the all-region team for Kansas.
First team all Big 12 as well this year. And Kansas is on quite a little run here. It may not be outside the realm of possibility to get back in this set. It's prompted Washington to take a timeout.
We saw 3 errors by Washington in a row, and you usually do not see 3 in an entire set.
Well, we are here in Los Angeles, but there's a lot of other regional action going on around the country, including the Lexington Regional, where Penn State defeated Michigan State earlier 3-1.
That's a very exciting regional in Lexington. Penn State, traditionally so strong, led by Deja McClendon on the outside, so physical. You see her right there, 18 in white, just gets it done, elevates. Such a threat at the net, blocking offensively over the top of the block, leading that Penn State team to one of the best records in the country this year.
Washington, champions of the Pac-12. They're the number 3 seed in the NCAA tournament this year on a 5-match win streak. They last lost to Stanford, which is in that Lexington regional. That was on November 20th. Haven't lost since then. 8th time in the past 12 seasons they've reached this round of the NCAA tournament. They traveled well. They have a lot of fans that have come down from Washington.
There's their youngest fan right there.
So Kansas is in the midst of a nice run here, trying to get back in this set. They cut the deficit to 6. Kansas second in the Big 12 this year behind Texas. Garris with the set. And a good up by McNorton. And McClinton again, it touched the antenna. Washington did, so another point for Kansas.
Right now, Kansas executing at a really high level, and Sarah McClinton, number 4, sparked off the bench, able to get some kills for Kansas.
It's a 5-0 run by Kansas. If you extend it a little further, 7-2 right now by the Jayhawks, and finally ended by Melanie Wade.
For Washington, balance is really important offensively. They like to use everybody. They don't just go to a hot hitter. And there they really needed to establish their middle, getting Melanie Wade going.
Wade, strong blocking presence. 30 aces this year as well. Gabby Parker's rotated into the front row for Washington. And another good serve. Washington will be looking for set point now, up 23-16.
Washington put Gabby Parker, number 11 in white, to block for Cassie Strickland, who's only 5'8", to slow down Chelsea Albers on the right for Kansas.
Jarmock.
Caroline Jarmock, so dynamic in the middle. You talked about her, one of the first All-Americans for Kansas. Such a threat.
It's her 3rd kill of this opening set off 7 swings, no errors. And just within 6, but running out of time. Jarmock serving. That's long, so it'll be set point for the Huskies. So Kansas started the set strong, and I think you'd have to say they finished strong, but it was in the middle where it kind of got away from the Jayhawks, as Beals will serve now at set point. Kansas stays alive. Again, McClinton from the left side.
Sarah McClinton doing a good job. She's long and she elevates.
Clinton, one of those go-to players for Kansas. McNorton will serve. Still set point for Washington. That's good. What a way to end the set. Kylan Munoz gets her kill, and it gives Washington the opening set. So the Huskies win the set 25-18 as Kansas starts and finishes strong, but they'll have to play a complete set to beat the Huskies. A beautiful night in downtown Los Angeles. We are on the campus of the University of Southern California inside the Galen Center, where Washington has just won the first set 25-18. Krista Van Sant, Pac-12 Player of the Year with a good opening set.
Krista was 4 for 8, hitting 500. She had 3 digs and 1 block. Solid all-around performance in the first set for Washington.
And for Kansas, just too many errors in that opening set.
7 hitting errors. Normally they hit 259 as a team, well under their average, hitting 125. And then Washington averages 279, just a little under at 231.
Krista Van Sant, 4 kills, 3 digs in the first set. I mean, if you're the Pac-12 Player of the Year, that's saying something.
It certainly is, and she's such a team player. Her team doesn't depend on her every night to get every kill. It's such a team effort, but when they need her, she comes up big.
Well, when you think of Van Sant, Holly, what do you think of? I mean, what impresses you about her that sets her apart from other players in this conference?
Every skill. She performs every skill at a high level and is a team player.
Krista Van Sant.
And I think the fact that her team won the Pac-12, that puts her in the driver's seat for that award.
She's only a junior, too.
2 years ago, or when she was coming into college, she was the top recruit in the country, and it's definitely paid off.
There's a look at Cassie Strickland, sophomore from Huntington Beach, California. I like watching her play, too. She's a real catalyst for this team, fiery competitor.
Great jump serve and fantastic defender and passer.
I mean, would you say that she and Bricio probably have the 2 best jump serves in the Pac-12?
Yes.
We're going to see Bricio next in the next semifinal. First point of the second set. And it goes to the Huskies.
Washington executing their block on the left side. It gets covered, and then they close the block on the other side. Nice execution at the net.
Sebelden, all Pac-12 honorable mention. And there's the ace from Cassie Strickland, her 41st of the season.
I love it. Cassie Strickland for Washington is so aggressive. This is a perfect toss, and she just gets up and whacks it.
Again. And McClinton gets the kill for Kansas.
Sarah McClinton's done a fantastic job for Kansas. The pin hitters who hit on the left side for Kansas do not play in the back row. Both of them only play front row. And they bring some small players who are fantastic defensively and as passers in the back row.
There's one of them, Jamie Mathieu, 5-foot defensive specialist. Another point for Washington. The Huskies lead 3-1.
Leanna Sebelden, that's her 3rd kill on 4 swings. She led the team last year in hitting percentage and continues to improve those numbers.
Orlandini back to serve. Albers, perfectly placed. No, it was out. Excuse me, it wasn't perfectly placed.
Just wide.
I looked at it. It was right in front of me. I'm glad I'm not calling the lines. I thought it was good.
With your glasses on.
Yeah, I know. I'm even wearing glasses now. Can you believe it?
I can.
Susie, no, goes out. Point to Washington.
Taylor Susie, number 10 in blue. She is so quick. Watch her get arm. Quick arm. Hit so effective. Hit over 400 this season in conference. been a very bright spot as a freshman for Kansas.
5-1 Washington. An excellent start for the Huskies after winning that first set. Carmichael hits into the block, still alive though. She'll try it again. And there's the block by Susie.
Taylor Susie, fantastic numbers blocking this year. Unbelievable. Watch how quick she gets out and closes that block. I think Krista Van Sant did not think she was there in time. She's so quick closing the block.
Gets Kansas just its second point of this second set. Riley with the serve. And smart second effort that time by Munoz.
Kylan Munoz has 2 blockers in front of her. She does a good job covering herself and just throwing it down in the middle.
Munoz was given a 5th year of eligibility when BYU released her from her original letter of intent she signed as a senior in high school. Nagaris with the serve for Washington. And that works out for the Huskies.
Melanie Wade, number 5, 6'4", not surprised by that one. She's known for her blocking. Washington sets Kansas up right there to run the middle, and then Melanie Wade, if she doesn't have to move, she's got the advantage at the net.
Good serve. An ace from Nagaris.
It all starts from the back line for Washington. We talk about it, but Coach Jim McLaughlin really emphasizes the serve. Beginning of practice they serve, the end of practice they serve, and they do it daily.
It's outside the antenna, point to Washington. I know that, you know, working with Karch Karai some this year, Holly, that's one of his big points of emphasis for our national team is the serve.
Well, it works for Coach Jim McLaughlin in this Washington program, and I can see why Karch wants to adopt that same type of philosophy.
How about on the beach, Holly? Is it as important in sand volleyball as it is indoors?
It is. It's important in every type of volleyball, and it's something that I'm coaching a high school beach volleyball program now, and it's something I want to teach our girls. And more emphasis on the serve is so important.
Anderson serving for Kansas, and Van Sant had to duck out of the way of that one as it was coming right at her head, and it goes out. Point to Washington. 10-3, Huskies lead. Jarmock hits that and hits a player for Washington, so point to Kansas.
Carolyn Jarmock matching up against Cassie Strickland, the blocker right in front of her at only 5'8". Carolyn Jarmock is going to take advantage.
Waite inserted into the lineup to serve. 10-4, Washington leads. And service error, make it 11-4. Wade, sophomore from Palo Alto. Point to Washington.
Again, easy point for Washington because of the tough serve. Watch it here. Serve gets Chelsea Albers in trouble. They're not able to get that ball over the net.
That's out. Another point for Washington, and Washington having its way with Kansas tonight so far, up 13-4. I guess that's the big question, which is yet to be answered, Holly, is Kansas just satisfied for being here, or are they going to make this more competitive?
I don't think they're satisfied.
Well, Jim McLaughlin, head coach at Washington, in his 13th season has taken this program to the national championship, but he's also coached at USC and Kansas State before taking over the reins here at Washington.
He was perfecting his art and continues to do so.
Pretty intense looking guy over there. Stuffed by the Huskies.
I love watching Washington execute their bunch block and swing system. Nice together arms sealing the net. That's so important when you swing block.
Wade again will serve, just sneaks it over. Jarmock gets the kill.
Hasn't been easy for Caroline Jarmock, but she finds a way to put that ball down.
She leads Kansas with 5 kills. Actually leads the match. No one else has that many. A few players with 4 in this match. 14-5, Washington leads. Good up from Orlandini. And point though to Kansas. Double contact.
Nogueras got stuck a little bit deep. Ball dug tight to the net. Nogueras just could not get there on time.
Susi.
Credit Erin McNorton, number 17 in blue, the setter for Kansas. Isolating Taylor Susi up there in the middle for an easy kill.
That is a good dig off a powerful swing. And the point to Kansas. I was laughing as Van Sam. She missed that. She was pretty upset with herself.
Watch in transition, Chelsea Albers, high, hard swing from the back row for Kansas.
Service error from Jarmock gives the side out back to Washington, and the Huskies lead 15-8. Katie Beals grew up in Austin. Family now lives outside of Seattle, though. And swing again and kill by McClinton.
Sarah McClinton very effective at attacking the low seam of the Washington blockers. Watch where this goes, right through the seam between Sebelden and Munoz for Washington.
McNorton is back to serve for Kansas. Big 12 setter of the year. And there's a powerful swing by Munoz off that left side.
Washington purposely set that ball inside and low. Kylan Munoz hits a nice angle.
And Strickland is back to serve now for Washington, which makes the Huskies very happy. Best server on this team. And there's a block and kill from Sebelden.
Leanna Sebelden was sealing with her hands, but that time it looks like it might have got her head and come back over. Watch her in the middle of the court. Yep, yeah. Off the head. Hey, if you can do that and execute for a point, go for it.
Well, service error by Strickland. So her service rotation only lasts 2 points. Let's see that head hit again.
Leanna Sebelden in the middle, goes off Munoz, it looks like, to Sebelden and over off her head.
Whatever works.
Absolutely.
17-10. kill from Van Zandt. That's her 5th.
Krista Van Zandt had Taylor Susie and Chelsea Albers in front of her. Big, solid block.
Van Zandt with 13 swings tonight, only 1 error. So her hitting percentage is at .308.
The connection right there going off 1 foot. Chelsea Albers set a little bit too wide, it looks like. Watch the pass, and then Erin McNorton sets that back set. Looks like it's coming off the net, and Chelsea Albers having a hard time finding the court.
Kansas having a hard time with Washington tonight. Kansas in danger of going down 2 sets. The Huskies lead 19-10. We'll be right back. Well, the Husky Pep Band fired up as Washington getting close to a 2-set lead unless Kansas can make a comeback here. And we want to remind you to go to NCAA.com because NCAA's Women's Volleyball Championship coverage continues with the national semifinals Thursday, December 19th at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. For more information, again, go to NCAA.com, your home for all 89 NCAA championships. And Washington would love to be going back to Seattle to play in those national semifinals. Van Zandt with the kill, and she now leads the match with 6.
Washington really takes care of that first ball, allowing themselves to run the offense, and Krista Van Zandt, number 16 in white, does what she does best, puts the ball away.
Van Zandt, 6 kills, 14 swings, still just 1 error. She's had 4 digs as well, and a block. Getting back to your point of what an all-around player she is. So Orlandini serves. And 21-10 now for Washington.
Kansas trying to use this substitution. Janae Hall comes in the middle, 6'1" freshman from Centennial, Colorado.
Carmichael gets the kill for Kansas. Carmichael, a redshirt senior from Manhattan, Kansas. Brother was a basketball player at Illinois State. Riley puts it in play. And a strong swing out of the middle from Melanie Wade.
Melanie Wade with her 3rd kill of the match. Getting it done defensively, solid blocking job for Washington.
Good up from Strickland. And Van Zandt will try to finish. Nope, Dockery keeps it alive. Albers hits into the block, and it finally pays off.
There you see again Melanie Wade, 5 in white, and Krista Van Zandt closing that block for Washington. Krista Van Zandt, 16, gets most of it.
Van Zandt 6'2", and Wade 6'4". They're a pretty powerful combination up there. 23-11, make it 23-12. Service error from Nagaris. Washington within 2 points of leading 2 sets to none at intermission. Maggie Anderson brought in to serve. Tried to go cross court and hits it out to give Washington set point.
Maggie Anderson came in to serve for Chelsea Albers, and that's it. Chelsea Albers is back in to pass for Kansas.
Van Zandt will serve to try to win this set for Washington. Put them up 2 sets to none. They go over, Strickland. Dockery with the dig. Carmichael keeps Kansas in the set.
Catherine Carmichael, beautiful high hand swing at 6'2". She's long, she's up there. Her coach Ray Bouchard said, this year she believes in herself. She is the most improved player on this Kansas team.
So Cassie Waite will try to keep Kansas in this set, and instead gives the set to Washington, an error. And Washington leads by a commanding 2-0 at intermission, winning that second set 25-13. So the Huskies, the top seed in this regional, justifying that with a dominant performance in the first 2 sets. Washington up 2-9. Welcome back to the Galen Center, where Washington has won the first 2 sets. You're watching the NCAA Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. And once again, hello everyone. Sam Gore along with Holly McPeak. Holly, you looked at me during the intermission and you said Washington can make people look bad, and that's pretty much what happened.
That's true. I think Kansas is a really strong team with lots of physical players on their team, but Washington makes people uncomfortable. You see in the stats, 19 hitting errors for Kansas. They're hitting .014 as a team. That's very unusual.
Well, Krista Van Sant, obviously the Pac-12 Player of the Year. She justified that and had a good start.
Big kill off the top, but she does it both offensively and defensively with a big block from the left side. And then in system transition, another high swing from number 16 in white, Krista Van Sant.
So Washington 0-14, Holly.
That's what I'm talking about. A tough service game by Washington does that. They put Kansas in uncomfortable positions, and it results in 19 hitting errors. Washington a little bit under their average, hitting .241. But you see the impact players, Caroline Jarmock hitting .333 with 5 kills, and Krista Van Sant hitting, well, 6 kills, hitting .333, exactly the same.
So Kansas with one more chance to keep this match alive, as the Jayhawks down 2 sets now. Brianne Riley will serve for Kansas. But again, Washington, the champions in the Pac-12 this year. I mean, they're one of the strongest teams in the nation, the top seed in this regional. Pancake dig by Riley. Carmichael sends it over. And Van Sant with the kill to open the set.
That swing right there in transition by Van Sant was set up by Leanna Sibelden, driving hard in the middle, holding her middle blocker. Krista Van Sant with one blocker in front of her is so hard to stop for Washington.
Jarmock evens the score for Kansas.
Caroline Jarmock, quick attack in transition right back at Washington.
That's perfect. Munoz.
Execution. Kylan Munoz knows what part of the court is open. Watch her from the right side, finding the deep corner. No defender standing there.
Good swing, good up from Albers. And finally ended by Carmichael, and Kansas has tied the score at 2.
It wasn't easy, but Kansas keeps that ball alive. Hard dig. Chelsea Albers keeps it up. Catherine Carmichael, high swing, gets it to drop in the middle for Kansas.
Wade
before that particular rally started, you could hear the Kansas coach, Ray Bouchard, yelling, look at 16, and then Melanie Wade sneaks behind, able to get this ball to drop for Washington.
Van Sant serving. And McClinton gets the kill for Kansas.
Sarah McClinton's been a very good outlet in transition, number 4 in blue. She's able to dominate a match and has done so, especially earlier in the season for Kansas.
Jarmock will serve. Kill from Nelson.
Quick ball out to Kaylee Nelson on the right, able to get a hole in the Kansas block. Taylor Susie's quick, but not quick enough to close that block there.
Nelson, first time in her career she's made the All Pac-12 team this year, just a junior. Clinton again, saved by Van Sant. That's out. No, it is point. Yeah, it is out. Sorry, point to Kansas.
Just out. That ball was set a little tight to the net. Kaylee Nelson. Actually, it's inside and tight. Kaylee Nelson tries to sneak that inside.
Sebelden, a nice up by McNorton. McClinton with the swing. That goes out, point to Washington.
Kansas putting some defensive pressure on Washington, getting this ball up. McClinton can't get that ball to drop.
And Susie gets the point for Kansas.
Taylor Susie's been so consistent. She's only a freshman, but been a huge weapon for Kansas in the middle, using her speed, both defensively and offensively for Kansas.
We're tied at 5. Third set, a set that Kansas must win, and the Jayhawks have the lead.
Taylor Susie and Chelsea Albers waited inside. They were not surprised as a block. Solid. Taylor Susie closes that block with her left hand.
Albers misses that point to Washington. And we're tied at 6.
Kansas definitely has elevated their play, though, in this third set.
Yeah, you can feel a little more sense of desperation from the Jayhawks. That's out. Strickland, most lethal server on Washington's team, also with a couple of errors tonight. That works out well for Sebelden.
Well, when you don't have the perfect connection with your setter as a middle attacker, just putting it in the right spot can be effective too, and Leanna Sebelden's very good at that.
We're tied at 7. Orlandini will serve for Washington. And it comes right back at her. Another service error. A couple of service errors here for Washington in the opening part of this set.
I don't think that worries Coach Jim McLaughlin too much. It's managing, being aggressive as a serving team, which he's been the whole match, his team, and missing a few.
Anderson serving for Kansas. That goes out over our head. Munoz misses with the swing. There's a one bouncer right over us. Carmichael misses.
Catherine Carmichael trying to get that long body ready to swing at that ball in transition. Just can't get on top of it for Kansas. You see the story. Hitting errors, 22 for Kansas. And that's actually a lot of hitting errors for Washington. You see 9 in only 3 sets. Usually they average about 3 or 4 over 3 sets. Washington
as a team this year has hit 279. They've only allowed their opponents to hit 184. That was a good serve receive in the back row that started that by Mathieu, and it was finished off by Carmichael.
Mathieu keeps that ball alive, gets it to her setter McNorton, and then Carmichael with the kill on the left side for Kansas.
Kansas up 2, a must-win set for the Jayhawks. Remember, Washington lost a set to LSU last weekend. Garris with the set to Van Sant, and Van Sant finishes it off.
Krista Van Sant on the right side for Washington. Big block in front, she attacks the seam. It pays off. Washington wins that long rally.
8 kills for Van Sant. She serves. Quick swing from Jarmock.
Fantastic execution. McNorton to Jarmock. 2 leaders on this team getting it done for Kansas. Watch this tough serve. This ball is passed too tight to the net. Jenny Nogueras is back row, so she cannot jump and try and save that ball over the net.
Out.
Woo, good eye by Krista Van Sant. That barely missed.
Six service errors from Washington, 7 for Kansas. Yeah, that's good. Nice cross-court swing by McClinton.
Wow. Sarah McClinton, number 4 in blue, just hit an angle that was unbelievable on the 2-foot line cross-court.
We want to welcome many of you who are watching the Minnesota-Stanford match, as Stanford sweeping Minnesota tonight. Stanford, of course, one of the record 9 teams to make the Pac-12, or 9 Pac-12 teams to make the NCAA tournament. Stanford now will face Penn State in the regional final tomorrow. That's going to be a fun one.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to watching that.
I mean, that's worthy of a national semifinal. Stanford making up for its disappointment last year, losing in that Cal final, or before they could get to the national semis. Sabelden from the middle.
Leanna Sabelden, she's not the biggest middle blocker, but she is so effective. 6'1", makes herself available as a hitter in transition. Big kill for Washington.
Boom. Susie.
McNorton to Taylor Susie, the freshman. Quick 3-set. I call it a 3-set. Beautiful execution. Taylor Susie gets her arm up, puts it down.
(14-12), Kansas leading, trying to win this set to stay alive. Sabelden in midair creates something good.
That is exactly what I talked about earlier. When the connection isn't there or the big blocks in front of you, putting the ball in a spot where the opponent cannot get it.
Wow, good serve from Strickland. But Susie finishes it off.
Kansas right now loving that 3-set. It's so quick that Washington can't slow it down.
So Kansas with a 15-13 lead here in this set. The Jayhawks must win this set to stay alive in this match, and they're doing a good job so far. Here in Los Angeles, Kansas trying to get back in this match, and they must do it by winning this set. But over in Lexington, Kentucky, across the country, Stanford and Penn State will meet in the regional final there tomorrow at 4 Eastern.
Penn State is amazing tradition, winning that title 4 years in a row, the national title. And Stanford, very young, talented team, mostly sophomores on the court, but Carly Wopat, their senior middle blocker, leading them on the court. Just an emotional leader.
Can't wait to watch that one. I'm glad my hotel gets ESPNU. Again, the regional finals tomorrow will all be on ESPNU. And if you've been watching the Purdue-Illinois match, Purdue beating Illinois in Champaign. And we'll meet Wisconsin in the regional final there tomorrow on ESPNU. Wisconsin, the only seed left in that bracket at 13, so some upsets in that bracket. Van Sant, that was just too easy.
Those are the big swings that Krista Van Sant takes for this Washington team when they need it most. And right now, Kansas leading by 2 points in this third set.
A miscommunication there on the Jayhawks side of the net. Van Sant again, that was perfect.
Katie Beal setting that up, number 7 in white, is one of the setters for this Washington team, spreading out the offense, really stressing the Kansas block.
Garris ready to serve. Washington trailing by 1, trying to get the sweep and get ready for the regional final tomorrow. Kansas has other ideas, however. Albers out of the back row. That's out. No one touched it either, so it is a point for Kansas.
One of the very, very few hitting errors you see by hitter Krista Van Sant for Washington, number 16.
That's only her second hitting error, in fact. She's had 10 kills and 21 swings. Dockery, sophomore from Richmond, Texas, was a Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week this year. Clinton blocked straight back down in the court.
Krista Van Sant fired up, especially after that last hitting error. She wanted to make up for it. Huge block off her elbow, straight down for Washington.
Good serve. It's not going to be enough for Kansas. Point to Washington, and the Huskies have tied this set.
Washington putting Parker in, Gabby Parker to block for Cassie Strickland to slow down Carolyn Jarmark, number 9 in blue for Kansas.
They made that substitution earlier in the match as well. Van Sant serving. And that goes out. Another kill for McClinton. Point to Kansas. The Jayhawks retake the lead by 1.
McClinton with 8 kills. That time off Kaylee Nelson's head for Washington.
Good swing that time by Nelson to get the point for the Huskies.
quick ball to the right side. This is what Washington likes to do. Win in system. Fastball behind, getting a big hole between the two blockers. Taylor Susi's fast, and she could not close that block for Kansas.
Put down by Susi.
Melanie Wade at 6'4" for Washington, laid down, picked up that first ball, but then right back. Taylor Susi attacks so quick in transition. Fantastic by Kansas.
It is do or die for Kansas. They must win this set. And that is a crushing blow from the middle, delivered by Sebelden.
Leanna Sebelden, 10 in white, middle blocker for Washington. Watch where she attacks this ball. Through the hands of Taylor Susi. Taylor Susi said, that one went right over my head. She trying to take too much area, did not close her hands on the block.
We're tied at 20. Beals to serve. And an ace. As Dockery couldn't dig it out. And Washington leads here late in the third.
Katie Beals serving the seam where there's some traffic in the front row. Players trying to move out of the way. Tiana Dockery could not see it clearly.
So, Washington up by 1, trying to get out of here with a sweep. A dramatic end to this third set coming up. Well, this is a dramatic end to this third set. It could be the last set of the season for Kansas if the Jayhawks don't win this and the Huskies lead by 1 deep in the third, 21-20. This has been the best set by far by Kansas.
Kansas really elevated their game after the break and have gone on the aggressive. Much better looking Kansas team this third set.
Susi, she's really turned into the go-to player here late in the set.
That particular set, what I call the 3 set, has been super effective. Taylor Susi getting up quick, fast arm for Kansas. Six kills, 3 blocks tonight for the freshman, and she's been consistent all season long, according to Coach Ray Bichard.
Sebelden, and the Huskies retake the lead.
On the other side of the net, Leanna Sebelden has been super consistent all season long. 349 on the season is her average.
Strickland, no, it goes out. And as good as she was early in the set, that's at least the 3rd service error by Strickland, and it ties the score at 22.
As of late, she's probably missed the last 3.
Not a good time for service errors. Riley. Sebelden misses, and Kansas up 23-22. Timeout taken by Washington. Kansas is on the verge of winning this set. Washington as well, you'd have to say. Wow, what a finish to this third set, Holly.
Well, Kansas, like I said earlier, really elevated the play offensively, running that 3-set. Taylor Susi doing some good things, as well as Jarmock in the middle for Kansas, and that's been a huge weapon, and in my opinion, the difference in the third set, along with better serving by Kansas.
So the Jayhawks cling to a 1-point lead. If they lose this set, their season is over. First appearance in regional semifinal history for the Jayhawks. Washington.
If they win this set, they're still alive. Momentum could be on their side, and they could have a chance to upset this Washington team.
And that would be quite an upset. Washington's only lost 2 matches this year. Washington beat USC, in fact, twice this season. Washington trying to get back to the regional final for the first time since 2010, and Kansas has never even been to a regional semi, much less a final.
This team, 7 seniors on this Kansas team. In the last couple years, the upperclassmen really have taken leadership on the Kansas team, and you see them reaching their goals the last 2 years, getting better and better as a volleyball program.
Riley will serve for Kansas. The Jayhawks looking for a set point. Service error, and we're tied at 23. 2 service errors here late.
One of the senior leaders, Bree-Ann Riley. So good for this Kansas team all year long. The glue.
Orlandini will serve. Now Washington looking for set point. Jarmock hits it out. Not touched, and it's match point Washington.
Wow, how things can change. You let Washington off the hook with that one service error. Washington's turned the tables.
So Washington now will have a match point out of this timeout. Washington will try to move into the regional final by defeating Kansas. Of course, Krista Van Sant is the leader on that team, the Pac-12 Player of the Year.
Krista Van Sant just a few years ago was the top recruit in the country, and boy has she proven to be one of the very best. Getting it done at Washington. Left side, right side, backcourt, you name it. She is getting it done for the Washington Huskies.
So she's a candidate for National Player of the Year. Here's a couple of the other ones out there. Haley Eckerman and Kelsey Robinson.
Both of those outstanding players. Haley Eckerman on the defending Longhorn team, Big 12 Player of the Year, and then Kelsey Robinson, a transfer to Nebraska, Big 10 Player of the Year. Those are 3 of the very best, but there's more. We just can't name them all, but for now, there you go.
Van Sant, 10 kills, 7 digs, 3 blocks, a complete effort, and it's match point for Washington as Orlandini will serve to try to put Washington back in the regional final for the first time since 2010. Good serve. Van Sant. Good dig by Riley. Let's see what the call is. They're going to replay the point.
Was there an inadvertent whistle? I don't know. Both teams stopped, so maybe there was a whistle.
Well, Ray Bouchard was up off that Kansas bench so fast, I should say. Let's see what happened here.
Krista Van Sant hammers that ball, and then in the middle, looks like Washington gets this ball to drop, but it might have hit Jarmock's foot to stay alive.
So we're going to replay the point, still match point for Washington. Albers kept alive by the Huskies. Van Sant again. Quick swing, dug up by Strickland. Van Sant blocked by Jarmock and tipped over. But wait a minute, Washington thought they had won. And it's a point to Kansas. Was it touched?
Kylan Munoz did touch the ball, but I do not think the ball was completely over the net. Looked like it was right on top, 50-50, and she is allowed to touch it in that case. Referee calls over.
Wow.
Wow is right.
So we're tied now, 24 apiece. And Wade does the appropriate thing for Washington. Doesn't dispute the call, but takes matters into her own hands.
And it's hard to come back after you think you win the match. You get that whistle, and to bounce back mentally, that's challenging.
Washington's half the team is already out on the court ready to celebrate. Munoz will try to win the match. A second match point for the Huskies. That'll do it.
Melanie Wade, number 5 with 2 big kills to end that third set for Washington.
So the Washington Huskies survive a very tight third set and can breathe a sigh of relief as they are back in the regional final for the first time since 2010.
Kansas really picked it up in that third set, and this could have been a different looking match if they were better those first 2. This is the last play of the game where Melanie Wade just taps it down for an easy kill off the overdig setup by the Krista Van Zandt hammer down the line for Washington.
And Washington held Kansas to its worst hitting percentage of the season, only .082. So Washington, the top seed in this region, now moves on to the final to face either USC or BYU. They'll be coming up in a half hour.
During that match, the USC volleyball team was sitting in the stands taking notes. Coach McHaley likes them to get their own scouting report. They all have their notebooks out, writing up a game plan.
So for Holly McPeak, I'm Sam Gore saying so long from Los Angeles, where Washington sweeps Kansas. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. We'll be back in 30 minutes with our second semi, BYU and USC.